I personally would not trust AI to just do automated trading for
Mm,
me. So I think you can think of AI as like an intern, maybe. You know, you just hire this intern or a very entry level person. Are you gonna trust them with $100,000 account, like right off the bat? Like everything you tell them to do, are you gonna trust that they're gonna, you know, follow those rules to the T and not kind of go off and do their own thing, right? And so for me, that's like a hell no. I wouldn't just fund an account and
right.
give it to an intern to trade. Now, if that intern happens to be good at coding, I might have them help me write a algo to do the trading, right? Or have me and we can kind of get into this a little more. You can kind of augment, you can have an algo that uses AI to help make some decisions, but the algo is basically actually doing the trading, and that kind of is like the news piece that we can do. But let's just jump in and show what like the Paradox MCP is and what you can do with it in Claude code. And last
Yeah.
time I tried
So
to share my screen on a live stream, my machine just totally bogged down. So let's
it's
I got
okay,
a
we'll
better
pray.
yeah, I got a better machine now.
Oh,
So
nice. Damn.
yes, we'll see. Hopefully that took care of the problem.
So
All
while you're
right.
pulling a screen out, I want to give people context, those who have, or for those who are listening in. So Rob here is very experienced with not just vibe coding, but he actually understands how like the APIs interact, how it works. So he knows how to run his own automation using code, and he knows how to do it using like AI's help via MCP and all that. So that's his background. So when he says something can or cannot be done, or when he recommends something, like it's a legit solution because he has tried and tested many things, succeeded in some, failed in some, and that's why he's trying to help us not fail when we start
Yes.
playing with AI and MCP.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been writing software since like 1998. So I was writing software before AI is now. I am using AI quite a bit now to help me write software, but there's still some things that AI is not quite good at with software development, and kind of get into that a little bit more too. Like, so I've been doing a lot of vibe coding of stuff, and there's some things that's really really good at, and some things that it's still struggling with like really badly. And I'm kind of surprised actually, given how there's some areas of coding where it just is killing it, and other areas where it's needing a lot of help. And I'm debating, do I just go in
Mm,
and write the stuff by hand? So is
right.
my screen sharing? Because it's showing us on the screen, but it's saying it's sharing my Claude desktop.
There we
There we
go. Our AI
there we
assistant on the
go.
back end helped us
There we
switch
go.
screens.
We got our AI assistant named Dan, full value Dan, on the back end there. So all right. So here's the thing. You are going to need to have a little bit of a technical background to hook Claude up to Paradex. So I was trying this out last week originally. There's some instructions on Paradex's website in the documentation section about the API, which is kind of the traditional algo route. And then they got the MCP, which is the new kind of agentic AI route to talk to Paradex's systems. So in those
Mhm.
instructions, it tells you how to hook it up to Claude, how to hook it up to Codex, a few other AI clients. So I went with Claude since I already had that going. Now the cool thing is, once you get it hooked up, there's a number of different things you can do. So they call them skills. So you could just say, show me Paradex MCP skills. And this is also on Paradex's website. So it will list you basically what can this thing do out of the box, like just in its current setup. All right, that actually didn't take too long. Some of these things take a while to run, but basically you can get some oh, this is interesting. Why is it not scrolling? Oh, okay, there we go. So you can get the order book, you can get a list of the historical trades, charts, you can get information about the vaults that are available. and then some various system state. Now, and also if you upload your key into the configuration of Claude, you can, I think it's live. I'm not sure at this point, but you could place trades with Claude here.
Yeah.
So you could tell Claude, hey, I want to buy 1 Bitcoin and set a stop limit at,
Mm.
you know, $60,000, and it could do that. So
A few things. Sorry. No, I was gonna
yeah,
say you're right. Like you can add your keys, but specifically, I think from what I understand from our product guy, add your sub keys. So that's like a safer way for you to be able to place trades. Because with the sub key, there is no like withdraw function from it. So that's probably like
yeah,
the better thing to do for people who are less experienced.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. So that's a really good point. So using the sub key for the account. So basically, the way it works is you have your key for your overall account. You can do anything with your key. You can trade. You can
Yeah.
take money out. Like pretty much anything you can do from the UI, you can do using that key. So it's dangerous to use that as kind of your access for any sort of AI agent or API app or anything like that. Then you can create a sub key for any, your main account, or if you have sub accounts, and you can grant it a limited set of functionality. So you could say, I only want the sub key to be able to view the positions. I don't want it even to be able to place trades, or you can tell it, I want to be able to place trades with it, but not, withdraw funds. So you can kind of control the permissions on that. And then you can revoke those permissions at any time. So if like your model like goes crazy and it's not responding to you, I've seen this with OpenClaw, people posting about OpenClaw, how this one lady was like, it was going through her emails like she expected, but then it just started deleting them all. And she was sending her OpenClaw messages on Telegram telling, hey, stop deleting my emails. And it wasn't. So
Oh
in that sort
man.
of scenario, yeah, this is why I wouldn't have AI actually do the trading for me, right? In that scenario, if that was you and you were trading, you could revoke your key, and then the bot wouldn't be able to access the account anymore. So you're exactly right. That's definitely the benefit of using the sub key for
And you explained it super clearly. That was the
yes,
most clear explanation I ever heard for how sub
yes,
keys work.
yeah.
All right.
So
So
yeah. So anyway, you can do all this stuff with this. Let's just let's see here. Let's pull up the
so
list of market
So all these
summaries.
are skills, but it looks like it's basically just pulling information from Paradex, and it's bundled in a very easy to read way. So like I know immediately how I can interact with like the order book, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is kind of like the out of the box skills that they've come up with so far,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so this one's like just getting the best bid and ask for, I just told it ETH, right? And I think there's about, I don't know, 15 or 16 of these. So it just kind of makes it very easy if you want to, do kind of quick and dirty things like this with it, to just get prices or get charts or something like that. But you can build on these skills and kind of make your own skills
Oh,
to augment this data, right? So and this is actually very easy to do with Claude. So what I told it I wanted this morning was, I want to make a heat map of all the assets on Paradex, and the heat map is going to be based on the funding rates, right? So I'm going to see everything: high positive funding rate, low positive funding rate, and everything in between. It's going to be color coded. Now the cool thing is, once you kind of create that, once you tell it like what you want to see, it's going to pull all that data in from Paradex, hopefully make it in a nice, like, kick-ass dashboard type of view that you want to see. And then you can tell Claude to save this as a skill. So that way you don't need to like give it that entire prompt all over again. Right. So I kind of went back and forth a little bit with Claude on this. So I said, oh, hey, I want a heat map, order it by funding rate. I want to see the funding rate in annual percentage yield, and I also want to see the funding rate in basis points per hour. And the reason basis points per hour is important when you're looking at funding rates is because if you're doing funding rate arbitrage, that's what you actually care about. Like your commissions are going to be in basis points, your slippage is going to be in basis points, the spread that you're paying is going to be in basis points. So if you're paying, and if you're automating this, like you're going to be paying a commission. If you're trading on the UI, you don't pay it. Well, I guess you're paying a commission now. There's a slight commission for a
Yep.
taker orders. Like let's say you're paying 1.5 basis points for a round turn commission now on Paradex, and let's say you're doing funding rate arbitrage and you're paying basis point and a half on the other exchange, so 3 basis points total, right? The important thing is like now you're seeing basis points per hour on that funding rate difference, right? So you know how many hours it's going to take you just to break even on your commission. I feel like this is what a lot of people miss when they're doing funding rate arbitrage, is they don't realize the commissions are going to cost them some money, and it's going to take a while to make that back with the funding rate. So anyway, I was going back and forth with Claude, trying to tweak the funding rate map and stuff like that. But once you got everything the way you want it, you could just tell Claude that, hey, then create this as a skill, and you can just go ahead and type that in. So once Claude adds it, so Claude will create all the code for that's needed for the skill, create the code, it will create the prompt, and then has a button to say save this as a skill. And once you click that, then it automatically pops up in Claude, and you don't have to like retype all of that stuff all over again. You can just click on, I keep clicking on my live screen. I need to go, my other screen's over here. I need to actually click on it over here. So, and it kind of gives you a summary of what the skill is doing when you put it in, when you click it.
Wow, useful.
Yeah, so it's probably going to take a little bit to pull in the data, so you can see it's thinking right now. And what the MCP is actually doing under the hood, it's interacting with the API. So there's kind of a few different layers of things that are happening here. So it's not like just AI is talking directly to Paradex. It's actually talking to the API, and the API is the layer that you write your algos on. So if you're writing your own algo in Python or Java or whatever, or Rust or whatever, it's talking to that API layer in Paradex. And that's basically all this MCP is doing as well. It's interacting with those same functions that your algo would be interacting with. So
sorry, do you mind if I try and like break it down for my
yes.
slightly less skilled brain? So it's essentially, MCP is essentially translating your prompts in English to code so that it can interact with the appropriate APIs that it needs to pull the data from Paradex. And once it pulls it in, it's technically still raw data, but because it has a framework of what it needs to do, it would then reorganize the data into whatever you ask it, whether it's a visual or whether it's just like a statement, for example. So while it can pull a lot of information from a platform, and in this case Paradex, the person that is prompting still needs to understand what the hell they're asking though, right?